You guys know Brent Gove, who is amazing, who I model most of the stuff off of that we go through.
Brent Gove, and I could not be more excited to share with you this new model for real estate called EXP.
The easy thing is to say, well, Brent's just amazing. That's why he's so good at what he does. He's so personable, everything else, which is true. But he also had to win. If you know his story, I'm not telling anything that's out of line. He bet on himself. He was broke, and he took out a $100,000 loan that forced himself to go win. He forced himself. He said, I have to do this. Have to. Almost everybody at the top sacrificed big. Some with more talent and potential just dipped their toe in. They didn't sacrifice. They said, well, I'm just going to check it out. I'm going to, when the results come, then I'll be committed to it, right? So if you guys have, a lot of us have been with Knolly Williams. I love the company there. Gary talks about one story about when he was selling, and then his wife said, hey, I don't love you anymore. I'm leaving, and I need divorce, and I'm going to take half the company. And he's like, he had to pay that out, right? And he talks about, it's the idea of he was going, and all of a sudden, you know, there was this big hole in this pit. And he was like, oh, my gosh, I have to find a way to pay off all this money that I don't have. And he was in this big pit, and he had to do what? He was trying to jump his way out. He was trying to jump his way out of this pit. And then finally, he got strong enough, he learned how to jump his way out of this pit to be able to make all that money to do that. And then he said, then he just never stopped. Then he just kept learning. Once you've done that, right? We see that with people that have sold their first house. They're like, I'm out, man. I can't do this again. Do you know how hard that was? And you're like, it gets easier. And you're like, oh, no, this is going to, like, this took me like 4 months. This is forever, right? And you're like, you could do like 4 of those a week, right? And this is the same thing as a lot of people don't really go through, but what happens is the biggest, they sacrifice the most. They walked away from something or had to replace big money fast. So I want you to look around your world and you think about all the people that have done something amazing inside this company. Every one of them walked away from a bigger or a big opportunity at the time for something bigger. They all walked away or had to make this work. So you got to check yourself, and you've got to ask yourself, did I really go all in? Did I really sacrifice to do this, or do I just have my toe in the water? This is the top 10 people inside the company. This is as of the beginning of this month. You got Rob Flick, who he had to go make the money because he was saying that he's going to die, right? If he doesn't have it, he needs to have that money for his wife. We talked about Brent Gove right there. Gene sold his market centers, right? You got Chuck. Chuck's here, right? Chuck, did you leave a big opportunity, something big for something bigger? Right? And the choice to fail is essentially removed, right? You're like, I can't fail. I can't fail. I'm not allowing myself to do that. So if you allow yourself to do that, you will. People that sold their franchises, people that did all these different things. We've got some of these that are top 50 people in the company. We've got some people here in the room with us. Amazing things. Almost all of them had something catastrophic happen that they had to replace this income, or they did what? They were already so used to doing this, and they walked away from it. It wasn't something they could keep going at the same time. Do you guys get that? Like if you're trying to say, I'm a trapeze artist, and I'm over here, and I'm trying to get there, but what I'm going to do is I'm just not going to let go of this other one over here. But I want to get over here. Like, well, then you've got to let go at some point. You've got to go all in on this other one to swing all the way to the other side. If you're not willing to do that, you don't deserve the rewards, right? I left a great situation. I mean, I had left a really great situation. I had a mega team. I had 0 office. I walked away, had a partnership with making $7,000 to $8,000, maybe even $10,000 a month. I left that. I had to replace that almost immediately. So people go, how did you win so fast? How did you do that? I'm like, well, first of all, like, yes. Well, like, yeah, you sponsored some amazing people that make you look way better. Absolutely, 100%, yes. But if it wasn't them, it would have been somebody else, right? It would have been somebody else because I would have done whatever it took to jump out of that pit, right? I got so hurt and frustrated at times, I wanted to quit EXP, right? We've all been at times where we're so frustrated, we wanted to go through. So let's just be real for a minute and understand that whatever feelings you've had, everybody else has probably had those same feelings and frustrations and so forth as well. Is you either quit or keep going, but they both hurt. this is really important. It's one of the, I think, most important things we're going to talk about today. Is this from Seth Godin? He says, big company CEOs get paid ridiculous amounts of money, but the good ones also do something that most of us avoid. They make decisions. In fact, that's pretty much the core of the job, whether to shut a plant, open a store, create a division, invest in new technology. That's the part that creates the most value. When we go to work, most of us simply go to work. We do our jobs, we respond to the incoming, we hone our craft, we make some sales, but the decisions the decisions get put off or ignored altogether, right? You guys made a decision to be here, which is light years past everybody else. Light years, right? When you make decisions, you earn the right to be paid like a CEO. If you're timid, scared, a chicken, you don't deserve it. If you can't even decide to go all in, why would you earn the right to be paid like a CEO? Why would you earn that right? You have to make decisions. Here is obviously if a food plan is all it took to lose weight, everyone who wanted to get thin would be thin. You guys agree with that? Like, it's like we all know how to do it. So the same thing is inside here. We all have access to these different things, right? If you do what everybody else is doing, you shouldn't be surprised to get the same results everyone else is getting. So pay attention to who you're learning from. Pay attention to that. Customato, who is a trainer of Mike Tyson, he said, I tell my kids, what is the difference between a hero and a coward? What is the difference between being cowardly and being naive or being brave? No difference. Only what you do. They both feel the same. They both fear dying and getting hurt. The man who is cowardly refuses to face up to what he's got to face. The hero is more disciplined, and he fights those feelings off and does what he has to do. But they both feel the same, the hero and the coward. People who watch you judge you on what you do, not on how you feel. We judge ourselves based on our intentions. We judge everybody else by their actions. Okay, I'll say it again. We judge ourselves by our intentions. Oh, I meant to do that. But did you do it? No. Okay, so you didn't do it, but I meant to. I know, but you actually didn't do it. I know, but I was going to. I know, but you actually didn't do it. I know, but I was gonna, right? So how about we don't gonna do stuff? How about we just decide whether they're gonna do it or we're not?